Breaking news tonight, there's a large police presence near the Safeway on East Cypress Avenue near the intersection of Alfreda Way and Downard Lane. There was an officer-involved shooting. Crime tape is up in several locations there. We're working to find out more about this, but police say there's no longer a threat to the public and that more information will be released when they can get to it. We'll keep you updated on air and online as we learn more. This is going on right now in East Reading. Good evening. It's a wonderful Wednesday. Thanks for spending some time with us tonight. I'm Mike Mangus. A Gridley High School student was hospitalized this morning when police say another student stabbed him. A school resource officer went into the boy's locker room at about 9:40 this morning, finding the boy with a stab wound. That student was taken to a local hospital, but police don't have an update on his condition. About 20 minutes later, the Highway Patrol found the suspected attacker. Police interviewed that student and detained them, but won't be releasing any information about them, at least for now. All students were dismissed from school by 10:45 this morning. A Marysville police officer has been killed in the line of duty today. This is a look at a procession that was held for him. The Yuba County Sheriff's Department said officers were going in to search a home in the area of Kestrel Court in Olivehurst just before 8 this morning. Several agencies were working together to serve 20 different search warrants as part of a multi-year investigation in Tehama, Butte, Yuba, and Sutter counties. They're looking into transnational drug trafficking rings. The Marysville officer was shot and later pronounced dead at the hospital. He spent 2 years with the department and was an Army veteran. Police say the suspected shooter was shot and killed. There's no threat to the public. A Shasta County man will no longer experience freedom. Convicted killer Michael Todd Merriman has been sentenced to life without parole for the murder of 3 people almost a year ago. The Northstate News' Christina Mendez is outside the Shasta County Courthouse where the trial came to an end in a windy afternoon. Christina.
Mike, Merriman walked into court today in shackles as the victim's family members recounted what they call an agonizing 11 months. On April 26th of last year, Merriman shot 76-year-old Pamela Castleberry in the back of the head, killing her. Then went on to murder and burn the bodies of 2 more people, Cynthia Duran and Luis Sanchez. Castleberry's stepson, John Castleberry, gave an emotional victim impact statement about what he called Merriman's depraved acts, asking the judge to impose the maximum sentence the law allows. Castleberry told the court it has left the family with unspeakable terror and great pain, stealing the future Pamela Castleberry had with her grandchildren. Judge Adam B. Ryan acknowledged the defense's mention of Merriman's past history of witnessing domestic violence as a child and a history with drug addiction, but said he believed them to be unrelated to the case, agreeing with Castleberry about the depravity of his actions. Merriman was officially sentenced with life without possibility of parole, plus 126 years to life. Live in Reading, Christina Mendez, Northstate News.
Thank you, Christina. A Shasta County man pled no contest in court today to shooting and killing a man at a homeless encampment more than 3 years ago. The district attorney's office says in October 2021, then 19-year-old Alejandro Armstrong shot and killed Carl Bernardo while he was laying in his tent in the Mercy Canyon area below Mercy Medical Center. They say he admitted to the murder by lying in wait, along with personally and intentionally shooting a gun. Armstrong will be back in court July 11th, where he'll be sentenced to life without the possibility of parole, plus 25 years to life in prison. The man suspected of starting the Thompson fire was in a Butte County courtroom this morning. Spencer Anderson has asked for a new lawyer again. A conflict was declared following Anderson's latest attorney, and he wants his original attorney, Larry Pilgrim, to resume defending him. Pilgrim told the judge there has been, quote, voluminous discovery in the case, while the prosecution said the DA's office authorized the release of sealed parts of search warrants. Anderson is accused of tossing a firework outside the window of his moving vehicle in Oroville last summer, starting the fire that destroyed 13 homes and burned more than 3,700 acres. Anderson pleaded not guilty and could get up to 21 years in prison if he's convicted. The jury trial was scheduled to begin April 7th, but because of the change in attorneys, a new trial date will be set April 16th. Oh, after all that crime, here's Tehama County tonight through the East Los Molinos Alert California camera. 70-degree temperatures today instead of the 80s, and it's just going to keep getting cooler and wetter. Northstate weather meteorologist Brian Schofield is tracking these changes. Hey, Brian.
And you saw Christina Mendez's live shot there. We've got that wind kicking in already. So you can see some areas right there at gusts already. So, or actually, this is sustained wind maps at 32 miles an hour. That's very significant there. 15 in Corning, 19 down in Willows, and of course along the coast as well. Anticipating more of that in the picture. Here's what's coming in. Look at this system. I mean, it's so easy to see. Get a little closer in. Bringing some showers to the coast. Haven't seen much here. We didn't expect much here. Maybe a pop-up thunderstorm. We're waiting to see if anything develops. But truly, it's a Thursday event more than anything for us. But that doesn't mean we can't pull out a quick shower for tonight or a good thunderstorm. But look how broad-based that system is. I think it's pretty obvious where it is right now, and definitely has to come ashore first. And that's mostly for tomorrow. But you can still see some of the moisture wants to stream in for the overnight hours. So we might actually catch that before we get some of that heavier stuff that's offshore right now. 50s in for tonight, 30s in Bernie and Chester, 30s in Hayfork, and that wind, that pesky wind, how long it will last, that's coming up in your Northstate weather just ahead.
Thank you, Brian. In what's being seen as a win for Shasta County, California Energy Commission, the CEC, staff have recommended denying the Fountain Wind project. They say there are significant environmental impacts and conflicts with local land use laws. The county says it's a key step in the state's environmental review process. It marks a major milestone in a local push to shut down the proposed project that would include adding dozens of wind turbines spanning more than 2,800 acres south of Highway 299 near Round Mountain in eastern Shasta County. It's been opposed by the county, elected officials, tribes, and the public. The CEC confirmed the project would create wildfire hazards, could create permanent damage to forest lands and wildlife habitat, and would violate zoning laws. The county says while the recommendation is a huge step, the CEC still has not made a final decision. Red Bluff City staff is moving forward with plans made last week after the City Council gave a 30-day deadline to remove people living in Dog Island Park in order to close the city's only official homeless camp. After meetings late last week with city staff, Red Bluff Police and service providers, City Manager Tom Westbrook says they've been getting staff from the city and the poor and the homeless path to go into Dog Island Park to offer services and housing to anybody who accepts it. But he says the resources and services available right now are already strained.
I know that they have some rooms they can do some overflow. As space is available, they're going to try to put people into permanent or supportive housing if they're willing to go there. We just don't know where everybody's going to end up at this point.
Westbrook says they've gotten housing for some of the about 50 homeless people who have been staying at Dog Island, and he says the city is aware of other spots through the city that they'll tackle once Dog Island is clear. He says no new official site was discussed, that the city is leaving it to providers to work out the next steps. There are 2 city council meetings before the deadline to close the Dog Island camp on April 18th. Those meetings are April 1st and April 15th.